everybody, what's going on? This is, I actually don't know what this is. I originally wanted this to be called Topic Tuesday, but seeing last week how I seem to record on Tuesday, Thursdays, and I can't seem to upload them until the next day just because of my schedule. But also, I'm not going to be recording Saturdays anymore, even though it's just the first week. It just has to do with, I just want to shorten my scope again because of my schedule to restrict it to the 2 days a week, and we'll see how it goes. Again, I haven't made my Patreon page yet, but if that gets taken on, if that gets going, then maybe, with some extra funds, I can afford to invest more time into this. But again, that's a long way off, not even in my head really. But so for now, I'm just going to do 2 days. So I guess if y'all have any suggestions for names, leave them in the comments or email me, and I will take them into consideration because I really don't know what to call it. I'm literally thinking of calling it Weekly Topic, which is, it's fine enough. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the topic that I have prepared for us today. And prepared is very loosely used because, again, this is an opinion-based show. So I'm not, there's only so much research you can do before you're just stating your opinion on a matter anyway. And again, that's kind of exactly why the first topic is opinions and kind of what they are. I just want to, again, I'm going to read some definitions and then my interpretation of those definitions and how that's going to influence the way I want us to look at each other as well as me and the topics I cover, so that we're not confused about anything. I want us all to be on the same page. So depending on how well I put this together, I'm probably going to revisit it in the future, but also if anybody else wants to check out what the site's about, I would send them to this episode first and then see if they're like, I can believe the BS he's saying, or if they're like, I don't want to listen to this loser, whatever they want to do. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about opinions, and from the dictionary, which is just a Google search, an opinion is a view or judgment formed about something, not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. It's also another one is an estimation of the quality or worth of someone or something. And so to me, not even to me, just what it says there, as a species, I guess we've collected the information to form this definition of an opinion. And it's not based on fact or knowledge, which means it can be about whatever. And so we can take anything as today on the day of recording, Google held their Made by Google event, and they announced the Pixel. It's a $650 phone. I really want one. I can't afford a $650 for a phone, and so I don't think it's worth it. So if somebody asked me, hey man, what do you think of that new Pixel phone? I would say it seems cool, but just not for me. But I've already read other opinions, and people online say that even for the specs, it's not worth it. Some would say it's a misstep in terms of Google presenting themselves as an affordable pure Google experience or Android experience, that it doesn't do its job. People are like, oh, it's lame because they're trying to copy Apple with their body design. Again, like all of these different opinions, for the person who's asking, hey, what do you think of it? They're asking because they aren't sure what to make of it. And so now if I told them, to me it's not worth it because I don't have the money, that to them now they're going to be like, it's not worth it because, it's pretty expensive. So if somebody asks them, they're just going to regurgitate what I said, but they're going to say it as fact. So they're not going, who knows if they will. But again, if somebody asks them, hey, what do you think of the Pixel? They could be like, I don't know, I heard it wasn't worth it because it's pretty expensive for what it is. The way that they said that, the way that sentence just came out, whoever they're talking to now takes that as fact of like, yeah, like that's the general consensus of that Pixel phone. But it's still just an opinion based on feelings. Again, not based on fact or knowledge. Yes, factually it costs $650. Factually, those specs you could get in a cheaper phone. But the fact that I do not think it's worth it is an opinion, which makes it a non-fact. If that makes any sense. And that's kind of where I'm going with the rest of this, on just the way we interpret and just interact with each other and media. And so the next thing I wanted to talk about was subjectivity. Again, the definition here based on Google search. That's how I'm going to get them. I'm not going to say dictionary.com or any other thesaurus or whatever. I mean, we know a thesaurus is not a dictionary, but Webster's is what I mean. I'm just going to Google search them and that'll be what they come up. So subjective is based on or influenced by personal feelings, taste, or opinions. Another one is dependent on the mind or an individual's perception for its existence. So again, subjective is basically how you interpret what you're seeing. My opinion on the Pixel, of it not being worth it, is my subjective judgment of, for me, it's not worth it. But I'm telling you because you asked me what I think. The fact that you want to use it, the person B, the one who asked me the question originally, wanted to use it for their, I guess, research, is their problem, not mine. And so, again, subjectivity, opinions, every opinion is subjective based on who's saying it and who they're telling it to. And that's just, again, how we interact and how media interacts. I'm just going to keep going with that phone example. And so, again, like, it's exactly like I just explained. Person B asked, what do you think of the Pixel? I gave them my opinion, but my opinion is subjective because I don't think it's a good value for me right now because I can't afford it. So he talks to person C. Person C will ask him, hey, what do you think? And he's just going to repeat what I said as fact. But now person C interprets that as objective. Again, because they think, general consensus, which makes people think it's a fact. General consensus, that must mean it's true. And they think it's an objective judgment on the Pixel. And so I'm going to talk about objective. Basically, it's of a person or their judgment. It's not influenced by personal feelings or opinions in considering and representing facts. Meaning, it's basically, I keep trying to interpret the meanings, but the meanings should speak for themselves. I'm trying to break it down, and that's something I always do. I try to break things down to base level because I don't like to assume that everybody just knows or understands how this is worded. And basically, when it's objective, you're using facts to you basically represent something. Instead of your opinion or someone else's opinion, you're just using facts. And so I guess let me give you an example. If person B asked me, what do you think of the phone? A way that I could objectively tell them an opinion or judgment is, or I guess it's, my objective answer would be, well, it's a $650 phone with specs that are already on the market. And then end my answer there. Depending on my tone, and that involves rhetoric and something else, but depending on my tone, the base facts are it's a $650 phone and it has specs that are already on the market in other phones. Those are facts. What does that tell him what I think? No. But again, he can turn around, tell it to person C, and whether that's good or not see, that's the thing. When he turns around and tells it to person C, no matter what person C interprets it as, it's going to become fact just by virtue of I don't think we can. When you hear messages, again, it's about a matter of like the majority. If you hear an opinion often, you're gonna be like, oh, that must be true. And again, through my example, my subjective of it's not worth it for me because it costs too much. My objective is $650 and the specs are already on the market in other phones. Both of those, by the time they become popular opinion, the popular opinion is now fact. That's just how regular people will interpret it as. So when you ask your mom, your grandma, or whoever's not into phones or not into technology, and you're like, hey, have you heard about that new Google phone? And they're going to be like, oh, I hear that thing's expensive. And, I don't know what makes it worth it. They're talking about it. Their opinion on it is now based on, and they're representing it as, oh, that's factually the problem with that phone, I hear. But it's just one of those things. I'm doing this because, let me just tell you what a fact is. A fact is a thing that is indisputably the case, meaning there is no ands, ifs, or buts, or interpretation, that is what it is. And by virtue of this very definition, the only thing that can be fact is what is. So the color of my shirt is black. That is fact. Whether you think this is an ugly black because it's been washed a few times or a lot, that's your subjective opinion of my shirt. So someone says, there's a difference between fact and opinion. But I don't think in this day and age that people understand what that difference is. And it just, so when I'm doing this show, whatever topics I discuss in the future, they are my opinion. Meaning I've done research of facts, but now I'm taking those facts and spitting out an opinion, because that's what I really want us to discuss. And which is why in my first video, or why I say, we're not here to say who's right or wrong. We're not trying to give answers, definitive answers. To me, there's no such thing, because everything is an opinion or highly subjective. I personally don't believe, again, it's my opinion, that we as human beings cannot be objective. There's just no way. Just because we have defined what is does not mean we know how to perform that. It's like the word perfect. We all know what perfect is, but nobody's perfect. Because perfection is subjective, is a subjective quality. What I might think is perfect, like if I might not feel good enough about myself, but somebody else might be like, man, I wish I was you, you're perfect. And vice versa, I may look at somebody and say like, I wish I was you, and to them they have flaws. Like subjectivity and an opinion just kind of are the way we communicate. It just is. But the interpretation of these opinions, somewhere in the transferring process of hearing an opinion and then regurgitating it, in here it turns it into fact. And it's a part of like communication and talking and just how we interpret things. Basically there's a million examples that I could give. And we'll just go ahead and get into it with I'm just going to do one quick example, because again, this topic is basically about opinions and how I will be using opinions to discuss my future topics. And no, I don't need to give another example. I'm going to go ahead and continue where I'm at. I want this to be a base level of all of us in the community, whether it's me or someone responding in the comments or a comment thread or an email, whatever anybody says and does, I want us to all understand that it's an opinion. And to me, this is very important to understand, because if I say, let's say I do a topic on, I'm trying to think of something topical, like if it's hard. It's just I don't want to step on any toes or step on my own toes in the future, because I want to do a topic. Okay, let's just stick with the phone. Let's say that I make a video reviewing that phone, and I say it's a great phone, it's a 9 out of 10, it's perfect. And somebody in the comment says, you're stupid and don't know what you're talking about. And somebody else says, I love this, so you're fantastic. Those two comments are the same. One's positive and one's negative, but both are opinions. Because there is no factual way to interpret that. You're stupid and don't know what you're talking about. There's no way for him to know my intellect, and even that is subjective. Because just like I said about looking at someone, I am smarter than group A, but I know that I'm also dumber than group B. So group B might agree with him that I'm stupid. Group A might be like, no way, he's smart. Who's to say who's right? Again, it's tough to tell because it's subjective judgment. It's an opinion, his remark against my intellect. And doesn't know what he's talking about? That's also subjective, because who would know what I'm talking about but me? I know what I'm talking about. Now, in regards to the phone, yeah, I might not know a lot about the phone, but I'm also not the engineer who created it. So then it's also valid about, you could ask person A who is stupid and doesn't know what he's talking about, who would know what they're talking about? Who would be smart enough? The president of Google? The engineer? The software designer? Who would know that this is a good phone. Again, it's back to the opinions and subjectivity. No one could know because that is a subjective judgment. And the person who says, I love this guy, it's a great show. I think that's what I made person B said. I'm not too sure. But if they, whatever they said, this is a great show. Again, a subjective opinion on what they think. They are getting value from the show that they perceive for themselves as good. I am of the opinion that this is a good show and I love it. I would obviously enjoy more positive, but it's also one of those things that if people want to jump in and be like, like trolling the girl or guy, whoever, did I give them genders or sexes as a whatever, person A, if some people wanted to bash on him or her for saying that comment because it's hurtful or whatever, I want to discourage that kind of interaction. Leave them alone. Let them talk in vacuums because it's just an opinion. If somebody wants to say something positive and again you want to bash on them because you disagree that it's a good show, leave the person alone, and the people who are trolling, just ignore them. And I think that's what it is. The reason I want to mention this baseline opinion stuff is that I want us to all at least understand that nobody is right or wrong, and that whatever people say doesn't matter by the basic fact that it cannot matter because it is just an opinion. It's just a judgment. And it's the way comment threads and conversation goes in general. Now, obviously, there's nothing stopping or nothing wrong with having a conversation. Like if you say, I don't think that show is that good, and the person's like, well, why not? And y'all start conversating about it, that's great, that's perfect, that's what I want. But if all you're doing is using your opinions to like try to force this person, no, I want to convince you that it's not that good, not a good show, or convince this person, no, I want you to know that he's smart and he does know what he's talking about, that is when I don't want us to waste energy on. If we're having conversations, that's what I want. If we're just barking our opinions back and forth, trying to convince each other, it's not going to work and we're not going to have conversations. This is very important to me. I might even throw this thread in as I talk about topics because I know they're going to get heated. And I know I can't stop anybody from trolling or from trying to aggressively fight the good fight, SJW, which sadly has turned into a bad word. SJW stands for Social Justice Warrior, but most people use it as like a negative term, not as a positive one. But I just want us to make sure that whatever conversations we have are conversations and that we don't waste our time focusing attention on people who just want to tell you you're wrong. And yeah, that's kind of just what this topic's about. And that's pretty much it. If y'all have any questions, please shoot them in the comments or email me. I also know I'm not very good at talking. Like, I'm pretty sure I went into a lot of loops throughout this video, trying to convince you of something, and y'all gonna be like, what? Who's person A or B or who's stupid? Like, I know I'm terrible, but again, that's why I'm doing these videos, and that's why I'm having conversations, because again, this is one-sided. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is a bad form of communication. It's a good form of broadcasting to get a one-sided message across, but like I said, I don't want a one-sided message. I want a conversation. I'm just starting. I haven't done a lot of marketing or advertising to get a bigger audience, so I don't expect any questions from this episode, but if I do get any, I'll answer them, and if not, like I said, this is a topic I'll revisit in the future multiple times, even throughout other topics, because I want us to understand that we're all in this together, and as humanity, a collective group, we need to work together instead of just fight each other all the time. And understand each other, and that's how, through conversation, not through arguing. So again, please like, subscribe, and share. I'm gonna try to work on making some, not even making them, pretty easy, but again, because of my schedule, I need to look into it. But I want to just put the subscribe button on the screen somewhere, instead of having you click on the bottom, although it's not too hard. But yeah, so I will see y'all guys next week for the topic of the week. Topic Tuesday, daily topic, whatever I want to call it. Again, shoot me suggestions. And if you're into the games or just want to continue the ride, I will see y'all Friday, and I will be posting my video game show then. which I also don't have the name of it for. But video game show sounds pretty good. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Bye.